Who are our favorite comic book romances? Well, Tudong, I'm glad you asked because we are here to give you our top 3. I'm Brody. That's Tudong Dylan down at the bottom.
Hey!
And Charlie right next to him.
Hello.
And we are Talk Punch, bringing you fun entertainment content. And we are here in honor of Valentine's Day, talking comic books. A lot of times we talk movies and TV, but we're going into the comic books. And we're talking about romance. So let's go ahead and jump on over. I know a lot of times we talk movies, and mine kind of ties into movies, my methodology, because I was having a very hard time with this list. And so I said, how do I do this list? And so this is how I built my list. If a movie was coming out and these characters were not in these relationships or in other relationships, I would be very bothered by it. And that's how I built this list. Like these people, I think, need to be together. I don't want them with anybody else. I think these people are best together. So my number 3 is Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. I think that these two are awesome together because they have to live in this dark bat world. They have to deal with grumpy, moody Bruce, and having their love kind of brings this lightness to the whole thing. And I love it. They stayed together even after the Killing Joke. And, you know, she was in a wheelchair and they were still together for a long time. They were, and it's, I don't like seeing them with others. I was never into Nightwing and Starfire when they were in the Titans. I'm playing through the Arkham games right now. And in Arkham Knight, for whatever reason, it's Tim Drake and Barbara Gordon that are together. And it's so weird. The whole game, because
that's weird.
And like Nightwing's even in the game, you have to team up with Nightwing, but it's Tim and Barbara that are together, and it throws me off. And so I always want these two to be together. I don't want them with anybody else. It's just these two. So there is my number 3, Nightwing and Batgirl.
Aww.
Charlie?
That's sweet. And like this is a very subjective list, depending on what age I was reading these comic books. I had different different feelings about the different relationships that were in them. My first real ship, if I might use a word that makes me sound very old, was from the X-Men comics. And this should be no surprise. I really thought this would be number 1 when we started doing this list. But I'll kind of talk about why it's my number 3 and not my number 1 a little bit later. Whoa. But it's Rogue Gambit. Bit of an upset. I know, Brody, you probably wanted this number 1.
I thought this was your number 1.
Look, one of the things I struggle with is a lot of the iconic comic book pairings in Marvel and DC. Really, it's like dependent on which run and who's writing it, who's doing, like what about Magneto and Rogue and people have these different kind of relationships and things. I have my favorites and my feelings about them, but I kind of gravitated for this list more to couples that just are together for the entire run of the comics, and not just like you got to read the right ones. Sure. So this is in my heart. This is my first of the will they won't they comic book couples that I really wanted them to will. I don't know. Anyway, love me some Gambit and Rogue.
To be
They're
together.
so sweet.
To be together.
But even in X-Men 97, they got to work the triangle. I don't like it.
No. Nope. I
Get triangle out of here. Get old man Magneto out of here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Magneto, but I agree. All right, Tudong, what is your number 3?
Ironically, mine is almost what you could say the exact opposite of yours, as it's not Nightwing and Barbara Gordon, but it is in fact Nightwing and Starfire. I actually remember reading Batman and the Outsiders and the Teen Titans, and I was just like, I always thought that was, I always liked it. He was like, "Don't kill them," and she's like, "They hurt you, so they're dead."
Can't believe you chose this.
I always liked that.
I can't believe you chose this.
Wait do you see his number one, which is Batman and Barbara Gordon. That's gonna
Oh no.
little
It-
Bruce and
it-
Barbara, little B&B.
It happened in the Killing Joke cartoon, and it was very disturbing.
It was very disturbing. I was
Very
working at that movie theater still, and they played that, and the entire time I was just like, "What? What?" Like the manager was walking out. I was like, "Hey, thanks. This was really fun. Thanks a lot." And he was like, "I'm sorry, the movie wasn't better." And I'm like, "Hey, it was." I mean, you can't. That's not your fault, but I mean, it was really entertaining because I was just like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, it was weird. This. Yeah, no, Nightwing
It's
and
fucking
Barbara are like the iconic couple. Hey, no, I disagree with this. Wholeheartedly
I mean, if you were to say,
disagree with
if
this.
you were to say, well, that's why I said it's the opposite of yours, Broad.
Wait till he's gonna have Magneto and Rogue at number 2, and we'll all riot.
Oh my goodness. Can't believe this. Can't believe it.
I kind of hope you snuck a peek at Brody's list before this and just picked like other pairings from all 3 of his couples.
I would be so mad. I would be so
Batman
mad.
and Vicky Vale at number 1. Let's do it.
Is that my number 1? You don't know
I
my
don't know.
number 1. You don't know me.
Is it the? All right. Well, I'm not going to speculate. What's your number 2, Brody? I don't care about your number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2. Hey, it's our first crossover because it's Gambit and Rogue.
Oh,
Man, these two are so good together. This is another one where like Rogue had kind of that triangle with Magneto. Now, if you want to count like the Age of Apocalypse, that when her and Magneto are married, sure, whatever. But main 616, no, it's all about Gambit and Rogue. It's these two should always be together. I didn't care for the movies when it was Rogue and Bobby together. I didn't like that. In my heart, when that timeline kept going, eventually Gambit showed up and Rogue was just like, later, Bobby, I'm gonna hang out with this dude instead. So yeah, I think these two are just so great together. I loved them in X-Men 97. I loved them just in the old like Jim Lee comics. They're still together. They're kind of on again, off again, but then they always find their way back to each other. And I just love that. I love it.
Yeah, I just was reading the Mr. and Mrs. X books where they get married. It's I call Brody because there's like it's man, X-Men is such a hard book to get back into after a long hiatus. There's like all these characters and the drawings are different. I felt like such an old man standing on the lawn in my underwear yelling at a cloud. But you know what? You just keep reading, folks, and you will get sucked into the story and you will learn all the characters. It's hard when you step away from big books like this where the universes are constantly evolving. But one, I love that at the heartbeat of you get the love of Rogue and Gambit keeping the universe together. That's right.
I love it.
Don't ever break them up again. Don't do it.
Nope, don't do it. All right, Charlie, what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 is, before you put it up,
okay,
I'm going to issue a spoiler warning.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so my number 2 is from the comic book Invincible, which is a great comic run, which I've read from beginning to end. But the animated series is airing now, and it's only in season 3 or 4 or something like that, and it is well behind what the relationship I'm going to talk about. So if you're watching the animated show and not reading the comics and you don't want things spoiled, skip ahead. But you're still here. Hey. Excellent. And then we can talk about good old Invincible and Adam Eve and their wonderful romance that blossoms over the course of the Invincible comics. I really enjoyed. I don't know if you guys have read a lot of the comics, but I really enjoyed this book. I mean, Kirkman, it's really fun. I think it does a really nice job with the relationships. Like it kind of has in the beginning, he's dating like Amber, or just a regular girl, and it kind of like highlights. Like I'm going to use some terms that are ridiculous to use when we're talking about superheroes and stuff, but a little realism into it's in a world full of superheroes. But like, how hard it would be to actually maintain a dating relationship and go to school and try to have a job while also simultaneously being available to save the world at the drop of a pin. And how, like, just even unfair conversations with your, where she's like, hey, Amber's like, hey, I feel like I can't demand more of your time. Like he's coming home from saving the world, and she's like, "Hey, you missed dinner with me," and she's like, "I can't do that. But also, it's unfair that I can't do that." And like the strain that would put on a relationship between someone who is like a Superman type hero who's needed at a moment's notice to save all corners of the earth, and a regular person who just wants someone who's there for her. I think we really did a nice job and that relationship obviously did not work out. And then when the two superheroes started, falling in love and over their courtship, and again, more spoilers here, but they have a daughter. They end up getting married. We get like really 500 years of their life, and it's a lot of like ups and a lot of downs. But it's not the heartbeat of the book necessarily, but she's really the heartbeat of the Invincible character and what keeps him grounded. So as you're reading through the pages, like their relationship plays an integral role, even on the pages that she's not present. It's not perfect. And, she's not always written perfectly, and he's not always written perfectly. There are little frustrations along the way, but I really like this pairing. And I couldn't wait for it to happen. And then it finally, and I was like, they got to end up together, right? And then they did. And I was like, all right, good. Let's keep it that way. So great ship, great comic book. Watch the anime, but read the books. Read the books. The Libby app. Go to your local library. Get a library card. Download the Libby app. Read on the Libby app. It's fantastic. Get the compendiums. 1, 2, 3. Done. Boom.
There you go. I was trying to figure out why this picture looks so awkward, and I think it's because his mask makes it look like his eyes are really wide open. And so she's got her eyes closed, and you can't see his eyes. You just see his goggle things. And so it just looks like his eyes
they are wide open. To be fair,
wide open.
He's making some deep eye contact, big old Dylan eyes.
Yeah.
Dylan, give us your big eyes. Yeah, there's the big eyes. I love you, baby. Nothing says Valentine romance like the big eyes while you're kissing.
That's as wide as mine goes.
Very true.
All right.
Women always like that, opening their eyes and being like, "Hi."
Dude, what's your number 2? Yeah.
My number 2, and I even thought this was going to be my number 1, but my number 2 is Batman and Catwoman from the comic or the graphic novel Hush.
The Bat and the Cat.
I really, really liked that. I can't remember if I actually saw it. I think I saw it. It was an animated one. Mm-hmm. But I love in the comic book their relationship, and it is in no way functional. It is dysfunctional, and just as you think everything is going to be okay, at the very end they even break up. And I completely understand. People are saying Hush. Okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't read Hush, unbelievable by now. Come on, people. This is an excellent comic book.
It's been out a while. It's been out a while.
At the very end, people have said Hush several times, and the bad guy, the main bad guy, his name is Hush. And for some reason, even though she knows this, at the very end, she says to him, he's like, "Oh, I don't know what to say," or whatever, and they're about to kiss. And she, for some reason, says Hush. And he is not having it. He grabbed both of her wrists. He's like, "Why did you just say that?" And he doesn't have to say anything else. She goes from they're in a relationship, they're done. And he is saying nothing, and she just goes. And even that works for me. It completely, the entire thing works. I love seeing Batman in a relationship. And it's not even a functional one. It's completely dysfunctional, as it should be. Because, yes, I love Batman, but he's a psychopath. He's crazy. And he probably should be. I mean, you can't. If I was her, I'd be like, why did I just say that? And what is he going to think now that I have? I can't just be a normal. I've got to kind of be understanding about these kinds of things. But because she's also crazy, she's not. And so she goes on her way. But I would really kind of be understanding if they were like, I don't. But then I'm going on too long, but you understand what I mean.
They almost got married in the comics here recently.
Again?
They didn't, but they were really close. They had like a wedding planned and everything. I think she stood him up at the altar, or he stood her up. Something happened at the last minute, or maybe they mutually decided not to. But it was like at the last moment they didn't. I wish they would have. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah, I'd like to see them married. Bruce Wayne's Lee Kyle. That'd be great. And he's still Batman. Like, that's fantastic. I really love to see that.
All right. Well, what's happening there? It's loading. We'll just move on then. All right. Number ones. My number one is a couple that has been together forever. And I don't think they should ever not be together. And this is one where if they do something in the movies and they break them up, I'm going to be ticked off. If they ever break up in the comics, I'll be ticked off, because these two have to be together. And that's Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. They've been together since the start of the Marvel Universe. These two have been together. I remember back when I was a kid, a teenager, something like that, and she had a little like fling thing with Namor, and I remember hating that even as a kid. I was like, no, I reject that. I reject it. You know, they've had disagreements. They were on opposite sides in the Civil War, but they still come back together. And you know, they're so great together. And they're not perfect. And Reed Richards can be a jerk sometimes, and he can be a workaholic, and you know, but they always find ways to fix their relationship. And
which side were they on in Civil War?
Reed was pro registration, and Invisible Woman. It was. I think it was Reed and Johnny were pro registration, and Thing and Invisible Woman were anti registration. I think. But yeah, you know, they had their.
He seems the pro registration type. Look at that flat top.
Kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got the movie coming out, and you know, they have to be together. They have to be together. I will not be okay with them not being together. So I love it. I love these two. I love the Fantastic Four, and they're a family, and they have to stay a family. I don't care however long this goes. They can never break up. Never. If they ever do like a divorce storyline, oh my goodness, I'll flip my lid. I'll go nuclear. I won't have it. I won't have it.
We'll let you have a solo pod, and you can just rant. That'd be great.
The never-ending rant that I will go on if they ever break these two up.
She's gonna hook up with Ben Grimm. It's gonna be, you know.
No, never.
Call it Nuclear Brood.
Never.
Going Nuclear Brood.
All right. Well, my number one is outside of the DC and Marvel universe. As I was kind of sharing, you know, or proselytizing, whatever you want to say. I've been really just digging my Libby app. Who knew libraries have books? No one told me. This is new information to me. But no, like just rediscovering a real passion for reading over the last few months. And so I haven't been watching a lot of movies or TV shows. I've just been reading. And one of the comic books I felt I missed like a large chunk of like the 2010s of like what happened in the 2010s. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
And so one of the books I saw on a few recommended lists was a book called Saga. And it's really kind of this like, you know, it's billed as like a Romeo and Juliet story based in like a Star Wars type universe. And it kind of lives up to that kind of billing. It's really like a space opera odyssey about these two people who are from different species that are warring and the toll of war. And they're being hunted because they have fallen in love, and you know, and they have had this child that she's holding here, and this all kind of happens in the front of the book. This is very much a book for adults. It is graphic in a lot of different ways, including some of the ways that it portrays their intimacy and love and things like that. So not for the young here, but at the core, it's like a very honest and raw look at a relationship. and the strains that are put on that relationship by these exigent circumstances of like this is they're being hunted in space and things like that. But at the core of the book, the heartbeat, the absolute heartbeat of the book is the love that these two people share, and you just immediately fall in love with them, and just absolutely just find yourself sucked into their story and just wanting to root for them. It's incredibly well written. It is a wonderful book. I can't recommend it enough. It's still going, so there's moments that will absolutely break your heart. There's moments where you're laughing out loud. There's moments where you cry. Man, issue 54, I got tears dripping out my eyes. It's you get sucked in. It's every story is flawed, but the best ones can pull you in such a way where you don't care and you don't notice. And this is a great story, and like I said, the beating heart of the book is the love that these two people share. So it's a good one. I recommend it. Saga. But Marco and Alana, you guys are my number one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, wait.
Horns and Wings, together forever.
Nice.
Nice. I haven't read this. I remember when it came out, and I remember kind of everybody talking about it, but it's one that I have not.
Believe the hype. It is good. It is worth your time. It's worth your time.
Well, that's good to know.
All 11 volumes available on the Libby app. Libby app.
Oh boy, that's a lot. All right, Tudong, what's your number one?
Before we started, I was going to say I was going to put Kick-Ass and his girlfriend in my number one, but I thought we were going off of comic book things, and not like movies. So, I mean, I liked their relationship in the first movie. The relationship in the comic book is vastly different. So there's no possible way I was going to put that. However, my number one is Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and MJ, Mary Jane Watson. I have always been a sucker for that. He is trying so hard. And, hey, different writers have different things, but, she is just supportive. I always love that, like she calls him Tiger, like, hey, you've hit the jackpot, but when she's like, go get him, Tiger, that right there for me, I always thought that was fantastic. She is supportive of him, he's supportive of her. They have like relationship, and it's adorable, and I've always been a sucker for it. And I've read Spider-Man since I was like a kid, and I just always like him. I thought about Gwen Stacy, but I just really like the whole MJ thing. Killed me.
No love for Black Cat.
What?
No love for Black Cat. No.
I didn't think it would be exactly what we were looking for. If I was like, my favorite relationship is Spider-Man, MJ, and Black Cat.
Now we're talking.
Is for Talk Punch After Dark.
Dylan, I really wanted to put this on my list, and the Batman Catwoman. But as
I can't believe you, bro. That one shocks me.
I know. Well, and maybe we can go over some honorable mentions, but I didn't do this because I also don't mind the Spider-Man Gwen Stacy. I also don't mind the Bruce Wayne and Talia.
Now, see, I don't like that.
You don't like that one? Oh, interesting.
I don't care. Okay, it depends on which version. Now, if you were to say Batman, Son of the Demon, that storyline, absolutely. It was shocking how well they got along. You remember that storyline, right? Mm-hmm. That was a fantastic one. The thing is, it's just I just love Hush even better. I just do.
I wanted to get Cyclops and Jean Grey, but then I was like,
I thought you were going to.
Then I was like, well, Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, like I really like that one too, and Cyclops and Emma Frost even like wasn't bad all the time. I didn't care for it as much, but like it wasn't. They were together for a long time.
People like that. People got real tired of the Jean Grey stuff.
Yeah, and so it that's where me narrowing down and being like, if it shows up in a movie, like I would be angry if these two weren't together, because you know, I can watch Amazing Spider-Man and be like, oh, like Peter and Gwen are cute together, you know, stuff like that.
But no love for Starfire. Get her out of here. Put her in the
No love for Starfire. Get her out of here. No.
Brutal.
And her hair stays back from wherever she started flying. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I'm always just kind of like, it's trailing behind her right from where she was. She's got a lot deceptively long hair.
Did you guys have any honorable mentions? Anything you considered but then ultimately left off?
Yeah, the kick-ass and his girlfriend.
I read through it sounds weird. It's a weird book to describe, but it was a book called Sex Criminals. It's not about people who commit sex crimes, to be fair. But this was like a hugely popular and well critically acclaimed book. It was optioned for an Amazon TV series, but I don't think anything ever really came of that in the 2010s. And their leads, Jonathan and Susie, are it's a great story. And deals with a lot of deep issues, but deals with them in a very witty and funny way. And they're an easy couple to like and to root for. And they were almost on my list, but I didn't want to have to awkwardly explain Sex Criminals. But here I am. So.
Man, Charlie, you're really becoming the comic nerd here.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've read so many comic. We got to do more comic episodes, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
I know. Well, we could.
The sexual tension between Michelangelo and April in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. The palpable tension between us.
Yeah.
But that's a good book right there. The Last Ronin, man. Pick that up.
I was just telling you about it. Yep.
You sure were. You were not wrong. There is no sexual tension though with April, just to be clear.
No, there's not.
This isn't a Howard the Duck situation.
Oh, good.
How come that didn't make your list, bro? Howard Duck and Leah Thompson? That didn't make your list?
Oh, well, that's a movie. We said comic books.
That's true.
Isn't she based on a comic character? I've not read any. I have to read Howard the Duck. All right, I got a new Libby quest. I'm gonna get into the Duck.
Oh my goodness! All right. Well, while Charlie looks up Howard the Duck comics on Libby, do you guys have anything else to add? Otherwise, we'll wrap this thing up.
I was glad that none of you picked Superman and Lois.
Yeah, me too.
I thought about it, but that was another one where I was like, but Superman and Wonder Woman were together for a while, and I didn't hate that.
Yeah, and that's such a better relationship. Come on. Superman. She can't even recognize him when he's wearing glasses. She doesn't. The voice is the same. It's glasses and a suit, and she's like, "I don't know who you are." Terrible relationship. I could speak in a British accent and wear glasses, and my wife's like, "Charlie, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Take them off. Stop that nonsense." He's not even pulling the British accent. He's just like, "Hey, what's up? It's me."
I'm not Superman. I mean, I'm Clark Kent.
You can't tell from my scent or my voice or my. Anyway, whatever.
All right.
I'm just teasing, folks. Superman and Lois are great. Don't get angry in the comments. Happy Valentine's Day. Ship your ships, folks. It's a great day to talk about love. So let us know in the comments who your favorite love interests are. Be they Superman and Lois. Be they Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker. Be they Magneto and Rogue. It's okay. You guys can love who you love and let us know who that is. And if you need some more Libby recommendations, let me know. Libby, the future is now thanks to science. We'll see you next time here at TTP.
Bye.
Well, X-Force stuff was good, bro. Reading some